Hi everyone, it's Roel from idealnetworkengineer.com. I'm going to quickly go through on configuring authentication on EIGRP between these two routers. And you can see the networks I have for each router. So I'll start off on router 1 by configuring a keychain. And I'm going to call it WAN authentication, but I'll call it auth for short. And I will configure key 1. And this is important, the key string, and I'll call it Cisco with an uppercase C. Now, the case matters on the key string, but it does not matter what keychain name you're going to use. I will use the defaults, which will create an infinite lifetime key. You can configure a send and an accept lifetime on these keys, but you need to make sure the clocks are all synced together between all the routers. So now we'll add this keychain to serial interface 0/0, and we'll do that with the IP authentication mode EIGRP autonomous system number 1 MD5. Then we'll do the IP authentication keychain EIGRP1 WAN auth. That enables authentication between on R1 but not R2. As you can see, the adjacencies were brought down because of authentication failure. And if I did a show IP route, the networks for the 192.168 networks aren't there because they were there before. So now if we go to R2 and do the same thing, enable a keychain, I'll call it WAN auth. Doesn't have to be the same as all the other routers, but in this case I will make it the same. I'll configure one key and give it a key string of Cisco. And just remember, the case matters on the key string. It has to be the same as I configured on router 1. So we'll go back to the config mode, go to interface 0/0, enable IP authentication mode on ASN1 with the key string of WAN auth, which is wrong. It's supposed to be, going too quickly, but it has to be MD5 first, and then you can go ahead and do the key chain on EIGRP1 of WAN auth. Then, as you can see, since the authentication is complete and it is right, a new adjacency has came up. So now if I do show IP route on R2, we have the 172 network on our routing table, and on R1 we have the 192 network summarized. And there you have it. That is a quick rundown on EIGRP authentication. You can check out the show notes on my website idealnetworkengineer.com to see exactly how to configure authentication, and you can view all the commands and get a more in-depth knowledge on this setup. Thank you for viewing.